think we've all seen that clip of an AG2R rider rolling through on a time trial and then just absolutely eating it out of nowhere. What could have possibly prevented this? Well, today we're gonna talk about my favorite bike tool ever, the torque wrench. This guy, the pro bike tool. This is you. And this is the guy that she told you not to worry about. Today, I'm gonna share my story about when I didn't check somebody's work and how it cost me a massive concussion and a whole boatload of money. Let's take it back to December 2016. I just graduated from the premier academic institution that is Arizona State University, and I had 0 job offers, which was totally fine because my plan was to be a professional triathlete. Who needs money for race entries and travel and rent when you've got a 15% off coupon for running shoe insoles? I had a crash back in August that required me to go to a mechanic at one point, and I had the mechanic, who was a certified pro mechanic, look over my bike. Little did I know, he had actually done some damage when he put the fork back into the frame and then sent me on my way. So now we had to fast forward back again to December, and for a little bit I had been feeling some weird flexing in the bars, but I wasn't quite sure if that had just always been there or if it was because it was aluminum or something weird. I just couldn't put my finger on it. One day I'm out on a ride with my friends and I push off from a stop sign and my fork just folds. I face planted and ended up with a massive concussion. So what happened? When the mechanic had put my fork back into the bike, he had tightened the stem bolts too tight, which caused a crack in the fork. How did this happen? What went wrong? And this is going to be the topic of our video today. We're going to be covering my favorite tool, AKA the guy that she told you not to worry about, the torque wrench. In this video, I'm going to outline what is a torque wrench, why you need a torque wrench, how you can safely check your bolts, which is a common phrase that people love to throw around but never say how to actually do it, and 4, a PSA about bike safety and how it is your responsibility. So, what's a torque wrench? A torque wrench is a tool that is commonly used so that a mechanic or anyone working on a bolt can get the bolt set to the correct spec that the manufacturer wants that bolt tightened to. Torque wrenches come in all shapes and sizes. This is the one I go with. It's the Pro Bike Kit torque wrench. It comes in a big case. You can put it in your suitcase. You should not put this in your carry-on. They will not let you fly with a giant wrench that can be used as a weapon. It's just TSA. The TSA just doesn't want your bolts to be tight, okay? That's what it is. My mom got it for me for Christmas one year. It was great. I was so hyped on it. That's how you know I'm the son of an engineer, when I get hyped on a torque wrench being sent to me. But I'm dead serious. I was really excited about this. My parents use it at their house. One of my friends, Blake, got this strictly because he saw me using it when I was traveling and he saw how dialed in I was. And he was like, I gotta have it. So there are definitely more than one types out there. A real bike mechanic is going to have a giant one that can go up to 40 Newton meters. This guy only goes from 1 to 20 Newton meters, and you can adjust it in 0.1 increments, which is great. Let's get into why do you need a torque wrench? Honestly, I'm amazed at how many professional and amateur athletes I know that do not have a torque wrench. There is a double Olympic gold medalist who I will not name, who I gave a spare torque wrench to because he had a broken bolt and had never used one before. That is insane. I cannot believe that you can make it this far and still not have a torque wrench in your toolkit. I know athletes who will go to races and over tighten a bolt and break something or shear it off, and then they go crying to a mechanic, and the mechanic has to drop everything and fix it for them, and it's just absolutely ridiculous because it's all preventable if you just use a torque wrench and get it right the first time. It's also super easy to crack something small like a seat post because sometimes they're not like my Cervelo, which has an 8 Newton meter tolerance. They actually only have a 4 Newton meter tolerance. If the seat post torque limit is 4, I would definitely be using a torque wrench on it. It is super easy to over torque 4 Newton meters. Now, some of you are sitting here probably going, dude, what's a Newton meter? And I'm gonna read you the exact definition off of my computer because I did not know that off the top of my head. A Newton meter is The torque resulting from a force of 1 Newton applied perpendicularly to the end of a moment arm that is just 1 meter long. As you might imagine, when you're working with a fragile material like carbon fiber, which most of our bikes are made out of, it's extremely important to make sure that things are torqued, because if they are not, your carbon can easily crack under pressure, just like you. Okay, so now we've got our torque wrench. And we know why we need to use it. But now, how do we actually use it? All right, guys, so now I'm gonna show you how to check the torque and tighten a bolt on your stem. So I've got my 4mm stem attachment, and I've got my torque wrench. I just plug it in, boom, easy money. Now we head over to our handy dandy, beautiful bike that's definitely clean right now. And we just take it. Remember, see, this is set to 5. If I needed to change it, I just like pull this down and move it. But I want it set to 5.0. Boom, done. Right there. Plug her in and boom, tighten motion, lefty loosey, righty tighty. Okay, we're going clockwise. That's tight. See it? It's snapped in place. Okay, perfect. That's how it goes. That easy. So when do you need to check your bolts? Well, the best times to check your bolts are directly after you've had somebody work on your bike. Remember, you weren't there watching them do it. Another story I want to throw in the ring here is back in the Tour de France a few years ago when Mark Cavendish was screaming at his mechanic before the race for not properly tightening his headset. And that dude is just trying not to crash and have his headset completely come apart in the sprint. If Mark Cavendish crashes during the finale because his handlebar snaps, Specialized is going to look bad, Quick Step's going to look bad, Cavendish is going to look bad, and that mechanic is going to end up fired. So nobody wins in that situation. I cannot emphasize this enough. Your mechanic does not have a magical arm that can detect what 5 Newton meters feels like and what 8 Newton meters feels like. Safety is our final point of the day. It's your job to make sure that this bike is fully operational and that you know how to work on it, at least to a baseline level, before you go out and ride it. Guys, a time trial bike or a road bike is not an F1 car, okay? I don't expect a Formula One driver to fully understand exactly how their car works. If you're gonna pay $800 to do an Ironman, you might as well spend $50 on a torque wrench to make sure that your seat post doesn't drop and you ride 4 hours with the correct fit, and so you can get off the bike and run well. All right, so let's go back and recap everything. 1, we went through what a torque wrench is. 2, we went through why you need one of these guys. 3, we deconstructed the whole mythical phrase of check your bolts, and we went through what that actually means. 4, we highlighted how safety is our responsibility and we need to take ownership over our equipment, and using a torque wrench to make sure that all the bolts on your bike are tightened appropriately is a great first step in that direction. Guys, I hope you enjoy the video. I spent quite a bit of time editing this one. If you are a bike mechanic who has the magic touch of the exact torque wrench hand, there's a space for you, and it's the comment section down below.